Hello, everybody, and welcome to another top 10 list here on How I Roll. And I've got a very special guest, Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo here. How you doing, Alex?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, except in this moment, I realized you had a really cool icebreaker question at the start of your video that we did, and I was like, I should have planned one. So let me come up with one right on the spot. Alex, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
My favorite flavor of ice cream. So I'm a big fan of Mitchell's here in Cleveland. I assume it's not just in Cleveland, honestly. I assume it's brand, no idea. But Mitchell's ice cream is top notch. Highly recommend it. They have so many delicious flavors. I think that the ones I lean to the most are they have a butter pecan that is amazing, a toasted pistachio that's amazing, and then a raspberry chocolate chunk that is amazing. All of those are my favorite. But I'll throw in a bonus answer. I'm also a big Ninja Creamy person, and I make my own little at-home ice creams. Like I can
Oh,
legitimately have pints of ice cream, like a full pint that's like 300 calories and like 40 grams of protein, whatever it is. Like I have these healthy ice creams that are delicious. And my two favorite flavors there are I make a Captain Crunch and a Reese's Pieces variety. Both of them are amazing. I legit have these for lunch, and they are healthier than most lunches you can have. It is insane.
Uh, that sounds amazing. Right after we finish recording, I'm going to start driving to Cleveland from Vancouver, Canada, so I can have some Captain Crunch ice cream with you, if that's
It's
okay.
there's a pint in the freezer right now, ready to go.
So basically, it sounds like you like ice cream. So I asked a good question. So at Gen Con, if someone sees you, they should bring some Mitchell's ice cream to you if they want to.
So when traveling, I don't know what's in Gen Con. I know at Origins, Jenny's is top notch. Jenny's, if
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
had Origins,
yeah.
solid stuff. Gen Con, no idea. Like I'm not the biggest ice cream. I mean, that's not true. I love ice cream, but like I'm not like an ice cream fanatic. I happen to like do a lot of these diet ice creams with the Ninja Creamy because like the macros versus like
Yeah.
the health factor and the taste, like the combination is amazing. It doesn't compare to having Mitchell's or Jenny's, but like those are more fun afternoon treats.
Yeah, that's great. For me, usually like some kind of cookie dough. My answer is gonna be so less exciting. I like chocolate chip cookie dough. Basically, I like ice cream that has bits in it. Rather than just an ice cream that's just ice cream. I'd rather it have like those chunks like cookie dough or brownie or those types of things in it. The raspberry cheesecake or raspberry chocolate or whatever you were mentioning sounds cool. Basically anything with like bits and chunks in it, which is like a weird way to say it, but usually I seem to like a little bit more. But anyways,
Yeah.
friends, thanks for checking out this video. As you know, Gen Con is coming up on Board Game Geek. There's a preview list of games that are going to be showcased there. Some of those are old games, some of those are released, some are upcoming demos. It's a list of 600 games, which is a lot to navigate. So, my hope is that these lists are helpful for you navigating those lists where you feel like maybe this gives you a little bit of direction. First of all, before I get into that, Alex from Board Game Co. I'm sure most of my subscribers already subscribe to Alex because his channel has been around a lot longer and he's a much bigger channel. But if you haven't, head over to Board Game Co., hit subscribe, and you can watch the top 10 list we already did. The first top 10 list was games we recommend. Those are games that we've played. And this list is our top 10 anticipated or kind of games that we're interested in on the list. Alex, I don't know about you, but I went through kind of noting, I went through every single title. I spent several hours, and with whatever info I could, I would just jot down on a spreadsheet a game that I was somewhat interested in. My short list was 50 games. Do you have any sense of how big yours was?
No, because I was adding and removing as I went. So, and also I didn't go through all 600. What I did, I sorted by thumbs, and then I think I want to say I went down to like once I was below like 20 thumbs per game. I was like, listen, if there's a hidden gem here, there's a hidden gem here. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think my list got up to around 30. The problem is what I was doing is I would jot down a game as I was interested in, and like, okay, I'll come back and do the research later. Let me see how interested I am. And then as I was adding things in, I'd be like, well, now I already have 20, so I can remove this one, which is a passing interest, and I'm going to add this one, do that one. The final call, I was choosing between around 20, but I easily had at least 30 because I was removing things as I went, and I'd guess I probably had closer to 40.
That is a smarter way to do it than me.
I
It's
don't
the
know
same.
if it is.
Well, the same way it's the same with my board game collecting. Like I've got all these games on my shelf that I know there's no chance I'm going to be playing them anytime soon, but I just have a hard time letting go. I think the same with this anticipated list where there's a game where I'm like, there's realistically no way this is gonna make it to my top 10, but I'm also like, but it's intriguing and it's exciting, and I don't know. I just have a hard time deleting some of them off. Like for example, Winnie the Pooh Serious Detective. Did you see that on there?
I did not. It would not
Okay.
have made my list.
Funny if well, here's the thing: is like when I first saw that online last year, I was like Winnie the Pooh game, and I wonder if their subtitle "Serious Detective" is like trying to be like, hey, no, this is a real game. It actually like looks like this intriguing kind of detective game, but I was like, this isn't going to make my top 10. This is probably a cool game, but it's not going to make it to my top 10. But I still just kept it on the list because I was like, I don't know, I just can't do it. One quick disclaimer for my list is that I made 3 videos about the Origins preview list. So on my list, on this anticipated list, I did not include any games that I had
Okay.
on my Origins anticipated list because I just felt like, well, then I'm just kind of
You just
recycling the
did it.
list.
Yeah.
So there might be some games that would have been on this list, except they're already on my Origins list. I'll put a little link up here for you to click on if you want to go see my Origins list. Maybe see some of the games that are also on this preview list that were there. So I don't know if you have any disclaimers or if you just want to hop right in,
No
Alex.
disclaimers, but I'll say that in an effort to try to make the list work, because I had so many titles, we obviously have the games we recommend based on playing them ourselves that we did on my channel. We have the interested list, but because I was trying to fit too many things in, I actually will be doing a third list at some point. I don't know, which is just expansions because there were a bunch of things that were expansions. I was like, I need to break this up. I need to talk about all the games. So like I'm doing a third video of just expansions, just in an effort to make it all work.
I thank you for reminding me of my other disclaimer because we were supposed to record this like 2 weeks ago, but things got jacked up. And then a couple days ago, but my flight back from RageCon got messed up. I also opted to include no expansions because I feel like there are so many expansions coming out, and I just feel like that's a separate thing because
Yep.
if there's a game I love and they're just putting out expansions all the time, it just kind of occupies space on this list. So I didn't include expansions. I didn't include games that I've played, and I didn't include games that were on my Origins anticipated list. So yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. Otherwise, there would be some pretty sweet expansions on this
That's why
list.
I'm going to
There's
talk about them, but I'm going to talk about them in another video. There's like a bunch of things I'm excited about.
I'm excited to watch that. For people, again, go subscribe to BoardGameCo and make sure you watch his expansion list because that sounds exciting. I am a sucker for a good expansion. On the video that was hosted on your channel, by the way, I think I said this, but you can watch that video still. Um, you flipped a coin to see who would go first. I've got this really cool from when I worked at the Game Boy Geek. Let's get that into focus. A cool Game Boy Geek custom die with his glasses on there. There we go. So I'm going to roll this, and you can call evens or odds. And if you're right, then you can go first. And if you're wrong, then I'll go first. Okay.
Are the
So
glasses a 1 or a 6?
the glasses are the 6. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
And
guessing
then
evens.
the rest is just numbers. So
I'm guessing
you get,
evens. It's
yeah,
actually
you
not going
get,
to do the glasses. Are going to come up 4, but still evens.
yeah, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to roll 3, 2, 1, call it. Oh, no, you don't have
4,
to call it. I already said
4 evens.
I got 2 on the
Oh,
evens. So
oh,
that, I forget what I said. Does that mean you're going first?
yeah.
Great. So why don't you hit us with your number 10 game you're excited to check out at Gen Con?
Fun tip in life: always make random predictions about things that you're not likely to be right about. Because when you're wrong, no one cares because they didn't expect it. When you're right, it's a very cool moment. Anyways,
Absolutely.
my number 10 on my most anticipated list is one that I debated including here because I know nothing about it. Don't get me wrong, these are games that I'm interested in. So I know some things about some, but honestly the main thing I know about most of these games is that I am interested in the game. But my number 10 is the one that I almost didn't include because I know nothing about it. There's not any information out there except for what the game is based on. So my number 10 is Lord of the Rings: The King's Gambit from Restoration Games.
Yeah.
This is a redone version of the Queen's Gambit, so I guess you know that about it. A game that, honestly, I have no interest in the Queen's Gambit. I've never played it. It's an expensive $400 game, and King's Gambit is bringing it back with the new IP, and hopefully the Restoration Games treatment, which they generally have done a great job bringing back older games and really bringing them something new to the table and making it not just like here it is again, but like it's worth playing now. So I am very excited for it. I know nothing about it. It's just a very big anticipated title from Restoration Games.
Yeah, I looked at it and it looks really cool. On my list, if I felt like I couldn't get much info, I just kind of moved on. Otherwise, that one might hit my list. But I couldn't find photos. Like it was so
It's
ambiguous.
nothing.
But
It's nothing. It was on my. I kept it on to the very end, and like I was gonna put something else above it, but I was like, but I'm not as excited about that thing. I am more excited about this thing that I know thing about, and that's annoying. But like, what am I supposed to do here? So I did the
yes,
thing.
absolutely. My number 10 is a little bit of a surprise for me. And I think the only reason it made this is because they've actually, post Origins, they sent me the game. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have caught enough about it online. But it's called Button Kingdoms.
Okay.
Um, and it's by, what are they called? They're called Around the Stump, I think, or whatever. Here, I'm trying to look it up quickly
I
while we
can't
do
remember,
this. But
but yeah, they've done
um,
Outrun the Beer, but I don't remember the name of
yeah,
the company.
Around the Stump Games, Outrun the Bear, this guy named Sam. So I hung out the margins, really cool dude. He sent me a game. And what I think is intriguing about this game, again, they've sent it to me, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet. What I think is intriguing about this game is its deck building, which I love deck, pool, bag building. It's a mechanic that I love a lot. But it's pretty different where there's kind of a very small market of cards in the middle, and you put these secret bids on them that impact, how much people like. So you could say, I'd be willing to sell this for this much, or I want to buy it for this much. And it's pretty interactive in that. So you kind of have this, again, bluffing's not a huge mechanic for me, but this kind of secret bluffing type mechanic where you're trying to transact around these cards, which impacts your economy, but also how people build their decks and how you're able to. So looks really cool. The production looks neat. I follow this Instagrammer named well, her name's Dana. What's her Better Mood Board Games? And she made just like the nicest like trailer video of it on her Instagram. That just
Nice.
like her videos are incredible. So all of that makes me it looks cool. The components look cool. I need to pull it off my shelf and actually play it, but that's my number 10, Button Kingdoms. So, what's your number 10 or number 9?
Nine. My number nine is a game from Mighty Boys. Picked it up. It's not from them originally, but they picked it up. But this is Yotai. I saw it briefly at Essen last year. I actually tried getting it. They had like the last like copies on the table. I was like, I'll buy a copy on the table. They were not selling the last few. But then I think I want to say it was released at UKGE if I'm not mistaken. But Yotai is effectively Splendor meets potato bidding. That's kind of what the game is. There's a lot more to it, obviously, but it's got a very cutesy theme. I am curious what this is going to be a little bit too much on the lighter side for me. I will also note, by the way, while I order this list in terms of interest level, Lord of the Rings: The King of Gambit got number 10, not because of my interest level, but because there was nothing about it. I was like, I'll put you on the list, but you're getting the 10 spot. But Yotai is one that I do wonder if it might be a little on the lighter side. That's why it is lower down on this list for me. But it does look very charming. I have always liked Splendor. I'm hoping it's Splendor with like a slightly heavier twist to it. But the idea that potatoes drive the entire economy of the game is also a very charming factor. So like I am being pulled in by the charm and slight similarities to a game system I know. But I will be playing this game and I will absolutely be saying potatoes, mash them, boil them, stick them in a stew 17 times as I play it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I checked that one out. It that definitely would have been like on my list of like, oh, I'd like to try this out and maybe be pleasantly surprised. So it's pretty cool. Number 9, and I mentioned this in the other video. None of these are impacted by things I'm working on or whatever, but there are a couple games on here where I'm actually doing work with the publisher, and I'm not, being paid to put them on this list. But in a sense, that might impact things because I'm more familiar with the game. But this one
Yep.
is Grendel from Off the Page Games, Jay Cormier, who designed Mind Management and lots of other great games, Junk Art, and who also lives here in Vancouver. So that doesn't change anything, but I do think it's kind of cool. Grendel is this. Have you played it, Alex?
I have.
Okay, I haven't played it, but it looks cool, and I'm going to be doing the how to play for it, so I'm excited. I have heard some mixed reviews, if I'm honest,
Interesting. I liked
but
it. I liked it, but I don't think it has the same accessible charm as like Mind Management does. But I think I liked it more than oh well, like, I guess third on my list for him because I like Mind Management a lot. I also like what's the game Core Discovery.
World Discovery. Yeah.
But I did like Grendel more than the last one, which I can't remember his name. I can't remember the name. The Hazel, the Witch one, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, I'm blanking on it too. But anyways, this I love asymmetry in games. I like, and we're seeing a few more games do this. What's like I haven't played it, but Merchant's Cove I think is that one that has everyone's kind of doing their own game
Yep.
system. So Grendel's the one where each player is doing their own game system based on totally different mechanics. But what's neat is there is a central part where everyone's doing the same thing, like in the, I don't know, like whatever the main board phase is or whatever Jay was telling me about it. It's all the same. I think the art looks cool. I think Jay's a brilliant designer. I think he does a good job of making games. So yeah, after Gen Con, I'm going to start working on their how to play for them, and I just think it looks really cool. So, and Jay's got a good track record for designing thoughtful games. So
Yeah, it's a tricky one because I've realized over time that theme matters to me so much more. I almost want to say more than it should, but maybe it matters the right amount. But theme
yeah,
matters more than I think it would for me. Like sometimes a great game, I might not play as much because the theme doesn't pull me in, and sometimes a good theme can make me play a game I would never play. Like Marvel United, if it was a bunch of cubes, I would never play it. Like the theme and the cube miniatures pull me in, that's why I table it. Grendel falls into unfortunately that reverse camp. I have zero interest in the theme, and I could see in a world full of amazing games and choosing what gets tabled, that might be the thing that affects whether it gets tabled because I just don't know or care about the IP. But the game was very good.
I actually totally agree with that. The theme for Grendel doesn't pull me in at all. Like I think the art and the components all look good,
Yeah, yeah,
but the theme is like there's no resonance there for me. Whereas you put out a like so I just posted a review of Luthier. I grew up
yeah.
playing classical music. I don't know if I necessarily love classical music as much, but I love music themes. I did the How to Play for Hairband. So games with musical themes get me more excited. So Grendel, it really is just based on the game system looks cool, not the theme. And so yeah, I'm interested to try it out and see if the mechanics are strong enough to sustain a theme that the theme doesn't look bad to me. It's just not like
Yeah, this
intriguing
isn't.
to me.
And to be fair to Jay, like Mind Management, which is a game I absolutely love. Originally, I didn't back it or get it because the theme did nothing for me.
Yeah.
And then I played it, and I was like, I mean, the theme, I still don't care about the theme, but the gameplay is enough to power past it. That is a game I adore.
Yeah.
But speaking of theme, that brings me to my number 8. My number 8 is Vampire Survivors, a game that I am primarily and almost exclusively interested in. No, no, no. I'm primarily interested in because of the theme. The second reason I'm interested in it is because of the designer, and there's no third reason. The mechanics are like it has deck building, which is fine, but like it's not enough for me to know about it. It's a cooperative game. It's a deck building game. You're fighting back a horde of increasing enemies. It's based on Vampire Survivors, the video game, which is a game that I no longer play, but I played it for a lot, and like you kind of grind through it, and you get more weapons, you get more gear, and you kill more enemies. It got that roguelite style of gameplay, but it's a little bit of a grind. But it's not bad if you have half an hour and you're watching something in the background, whatever. But because I played it so much, I was interested in the game. Then Emerson Matsushi is the designer, and I don't know if I've loved everything he's designed, but I certainly have loved a lot of what he's designed, and so that gives me a lot of confidence in it as well. And then cooperative sounds good, and deck building does sound good, but those are also way too generic for me to be pulled in by those alone. But I'm interested. I don't like it. Obviously, cannot be the way the video game is. There's the nature of the video game and how it's basically hordes and millions of enemies. You could never replicate that in a board game without it making it a grindy experience. But honestly, a good designer is not going to try to replicate a video game when they're making a board game based on a video game. They're going to try to figure out how does that translate into the board game in a way that really delivers. And sometimes that does feel like replication. Slay the Spire is going to be very much almost exactly to the video game. Other times you have to be innovative and different to really carry it out. But calling me interested in it, but also uncertain. We will see.
Yeah. So one of the things that's interesting for me is there's like a decent overlap in the board game world and the video game world, but I really don't play video games very much. I did a lot when I was younger, but I don't much now, and not for any reason, just other than I don't have the time, whatever. So a lot of these video game IPs that come out in board games seem cool, but I don't know them. So this is a game that I'm good friends with the people over at Gray Fox. In fact, they're one of my favorite publishers on the planet because every convention, when I get some games, my game haul, I give it to them. They drive it to their warehouse and they ship it to me, which is like
That's
the
so
most
nice.
it's the like I pay for the shipping, but it's the most helpful thing any publisher has ever done for me, especially living in Canada and taking these brutal flights down. So Gray Fox, I think those guys are the real deal. I think they do a great job. And so they were talking about this game, but I don't. This is kind of what we were just talking about with Grendel. I don't know anything about this IP. There's not much info about it online, so I didn't have it anywhere on my list. But I am intrigued because Shane and Lance are awesome, and they were talking about this game, so I'll try it out sometime. But um, great. My number 8 is actually funny. I didn't even think about this. I just referenced Luthier from Paverson Games. And this is their upcoming title, Ringyo. They have two titles on here, Class of '89 and Ringyo. They both look cool. What you're just saying about, a designer who's made good games in the past, I feel like I operate with a fair amount of, like, if Alexander Pfister makes a game, I'm like, okay, I got to try this. I put trust in designers who have done good games. Now, over time, if they start making some games that aren't very good, then I start losing some trust or whatever. But Paverson having put out Distilled and then Luthier, I'm pretty excited about what's coming next. I haven't played a lot of games by Charlie McCarran before, but interestingly, I was just at RageCon and he was there and we hung out a bunch that weekend. I just played one of his other games called Skyrockets last week. So he's an
Skyrockets
awesome
from the real
Floodgate.
timers.
Yeah,
I
the
like that
timers.
one a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
I think that's the
That's
same
Charlie.
designer.
Yeah, Charlie McCarran who made Ringyo. So I just think Paverson is doing like beautiful production, like great. Like it seems like they've developed their games really well. Like the mechanics and Distilled and Luthier, at least in my opinion, work well. There aren't a lot of moments where it's just like, I wish they would have done this or this seems broken. Seems like they've got good replayability. I like this theme and this setup in Ringyo of this like this tree that you're tending to and taking care of. The components look awesome. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Everything about this just screams like a game that I really need to play and try. So, have you had a chance to demo this one?
Yeah, Wingo we covered on the channel. Well, I think we did a preview, but I also played it while I was there. But it's one that I overall enjoyed it. While I'll admit I wasn't as pulled. I think my challenge with it was the main game the element comes down to like raising up and chopping these trees with worker placement. The tableau building, which I thought would be stronger, wasn't as interesting as I was hoping for. So it felt like a real grind to like get those extra workers or samurai into the play. I enjoyed it, but I definitely enjoyed other Pavison games more.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That awkward moment when you've done it on your channel and now you're realizing I didn't watch your video, so sorry.
Oh no, I put out 14 videos a week. If you don't, well, if you watched all of them, I'd be shocked.
I
Um,
do one of my most watched channels, but I do not watch all of your videos.
yeah.
But anyways,
And
yeah,
also,
radio looks cool.
speaking as somebody who watches a lot of content from a lot of people, I am least likely to watch dedicated video coverage unless I'm interested in that game. So, like, if I see
Yeah,
a video go up on your channel, I might watch it because it's an interesting top 10 list, it's an interesting conversation piece. But if it's covering a game, I usually have to be interested in the game to start
totally.
with. Otherwise, I'm not, going to watch it.
100%.
Um, My number seven is Codenames Critical Role Adventures. This is the new version of Codenames from CGE. I actually believe I have a copy coming as we speak, which I just found out about yesterday. I got an email. Apparently, speaking of, I
Same.
mentioned my video already. I did a video on my channel recently. I was talking about things I wanted, and I was talking about how Codenames Critical Role is one that's on my wish list. And I guess they watched it, and they're like, actually, we're looking for pre-Gen Con coverage. Can you cover it? So I will have pre-Gen Con coverage, but right now I'm still in the interested phase. I haven't played it yet. But effectively, it takes Codenames, it puts it in a cooperative mode. Now, the interesting thing is, I'm not interested in Critical Role at all. I do not watch them. I have nothing to do with it. I'm not a D&D person. I'm not an RPG person. So at first, I wasn't interested in the slightest, and then I found out it's basically just cooperative Codenames that happens to have Critical Role as the theme. If you
Yeah.
know Dungeons or geek culture of any kind, you're already going to know most of the cards. It's not specific to Critical Role. And then it's basically giving you a cooperative game where you have a character, you have abilities, you're leveling up, you're going on this process. And I've always like I like the idea of that because I really like Codenames Duet. I would say I play more Codenames Duet than I play regular Codenames nowadays, but that's only at 2 players. And then often if I have 3 players, I'm usually playing So Clover. I need to get to 4 players and be in the mood for competition before Codenames comes out, and at that point you're competing with Codenames, Decrypto, a bunch of other games as well. And so Codenames has gotten played less over the years. Still love it, still a big fan, but I do wonder if Codenames Critical Role Adventures, especially if you can utilize other cards, which I think you can, if that might bring it back into like 2 and 3 player Codenames for when I want that cooperative feel, combined with powers and abilities and leveling up and a sequence and all that, and like a structured pathway, has me very interested in it. Always hesitant. Everything else I'm going to be hesitant on. That's the nature of being anticipated and not playing it
Yeah.
yet, but I am excited for it.
I got that same email yesterday about this
They
same game.
lied. It wasn't because of my video. Actually, I don't know if they said. I think what actually happened is I think they said, "Do you want a copy?" And I was like, "I just talked about the video," and they said, "Yeah, we just watched it." So they
Oh,
technically didn't say it's because of the video. So I don't
yeah.
know.
No, that's kind of cool. I'm assuming that yeah, Jared probably had a list of people that he's like, okay, I've got copies. Um,
I felt so
this was
special, Jared. Jared, I'm sending you this video. I felt special, and now I don't feel special anymore. I
well
sound
that
so entitled. I'm just joking around.
well think about how I feel now. Like this way bigger channels getting like I kind of thought, oh, Jared cares about the little guy, but
Well, now that I know this, I'm rushing to coverage. The day I get it, I'm covering. I'm joking. I'm joking.
you will beat me, as you know, and you've referenced on your channel and you've shouted me out. I do pretty
Yeah.
heavy B-roll stuff, which takes time and is slow. So
But I will say I've moved. This is a random tangent into the nature of YouTube and
yeah,
all that. But like I've moved out of the hunger phase, so to speak. There was a time on my channel when I was growing where it'd be like, I got this game, I need to play it all night because I need to be the first one to get content. I need to be the first one to get coverage. Because at the end of the day, views do matter. Growth is a factor in how your channel does. And so yes, you're doing it for the love of the game. But if you want the YouTube part to do well, you have to play the YouTube game. But I will say I've moved out of that phase a long time ago. It's thankfully part of it is the fact that I have grown, so I no longer feel the need to like get that growth. I'm at a place where I can sit there and say whatever. I'll get the coverage when it's relevant. I will play
yeah,
the game. I'll take my time with it. If anything, I'm too slow nowadays because I've moved away from that hunger. I will play the game on my own time and I'll get it covered. I'm not staying up all night just so I can get day one coverage.
yeah, that's cool. I've kind of I've thought back and forth about that a bit. One of the things, as you know, the main focus of my channel right now is how to play. So because of that, I kind of feel maybe a little bit less of that pinch. Like it was cool
Yeah,
that Euphoria Essential Edition, I was the first video on the internet besides anything Jamie's done. But I'm kind of like, well, I'm doing the how to play. So
it's a
people
different
are
crunch.
trying to.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of a different stream. So yeah. Anyways, Critical Role, Codename's Critical Role was on my anticipated list for Origins. So maybe I don't know. That's how Jared knew I was excited or something. But I think it looks cool too. Same as you. Critical Role is an IP that I'm not like, oh yay, this
don't
is the
care.
coolest. But that idea that so I think Codenames is such a cool game. When it first came out, we introduced so many friends to it. We loved it, and I still think it's cool. I just don't play it that much nowadays. If I was going to play it, I would play Alibis instead, or
I
some
love
other games like
alibis.
that.
It's great.
Alibis, Alibis is fantastic and has everyone playing at the same time. So, and when Codenames has made like Disney or Marvel versions or whatever, I've just thought those are a flop
Yeah.
because it's just too specific. It doesn't really like it's just kind of a trivia game at that point. So I think this new system where they're creating a story mode where you're playing cooperatively and going through a campaign looks really cool. And I think it's exactly the type of thing that would revive Codenames for me and want me to get to the table. So I can't wait to race you to having that video. I'm just kidding. You'll definitely beat me. But does it begs the question, how many other people got that email, like so yeah. Anyways, my number 7, which is what I'm on right now, is Gunsin from Office Dog Games.
Oh,
And I am
I'm
in,
shocked that I didn't put it on my list.
well, I was
That
gonna say I'm
should be. It's
interested
not
to
on
see
my
how
list,
much.
but it should be on my list.
We didn't have much crossover on the first list. I'm interested to see how much we have on this list, and I kind of assumed that this one might be a crossover item.
It
Um,
should have been. I somehow missed it.
well, now you have to make a quick audible and replace your number 10 with Gunson. Anyways, Gunson, obviously Ben Rossett is an awesome designer. He does a fantastic job. In fact, Excursions from Galactic Cruise Company, Kinson Key, is designed by Ben Rossett, and that was my number one anticipated for Origins. And it would be high on this list as well. Again, I'm not doing any that was on my Origins list, but Ben Rossett's an amazing designer. Gunson, the production, the mechanics, everything I can see online looks awesome. It's a fighting, dice rolling, move around the map game, but it just looks like it has some pretty cool mechanics with how you build out your abilities and you're managing that. Um, it kind of, the impression I'm getting online is that it gives you kind of that crunch and experience of like a pretty immersive, heavier game, but without taking 9 hours to play or whatever. So I don't know a ton about it, but it does look really cool. And I think that Office Dog has been doing a pretty good job of putting out
Yeah,
games that I
they have.
like. So far they're,
That's why it should
they're
have been on my
pretty
list.
consistent. Yeah. Well, shoot. Sorry, Alex. You kind of messed up the list, but That's
Well,
okay.
speaking of messing up the list, my number six is another game that will definitely not be a crossover because of your rules. Excursions. Excursions is my number six.
Yeah.
That's one that the people at Galactic Cruise for Kids and Key Games. Excursions has me very interested. Did you play it, by the way?
No, I didn't yet. I
Okay,
could
so
have, but
you
I didn't.
might be able to give me more information. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know a ton about it. I know it's based on the world of Galactic Cruise, from the people of the Galactic Cruise. The thing that has me interested in is the mechanics of the simultaneous selection, basically role selection, where one player chooses the action, that player gets a bonus, but then everyone gets the action. I've really been enjoying the new Puerto Rico a lot, and it's like, and then I played San Juan, which made me want to get back Race for the Galaxy, which is a great game. I really do want to get back Race for the Galaxy. It's so good. But role selection is a mechanic that I think once upon a time was very heavily utilized, and I think it's become less present over the past few years. One that actually Carnegie does it to an extent, although in a slightly different method,
Yeah.
because different way it works. But either way, yeah, Excursions has me very interested. Both the general visual appeal of it, combined with the mechanics, and of course Kids and Key, that makes me very interested in it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but what the setup is, like in Galactic Cruise, you're on Earth, like managing a cruise company, and the cruises go out to outer space. In this, you're the cruise director, you're out in outer space, and so you're managing what's happening on the cruise ship and trying to make people happy and all that.
Nice.
Which, a lot of game companies make like a spin-off or in the same world game. But Kinson Key, what amazes me about them is how thoughtful their design is. Their rule book is fantastic. Their production is fantastic. So I think this type of a follow up where it's like, well, it's not only just like the same theme or world, but we're actually like putting you into the cruise ship now, I think is really cool. And yeah, that action selection system of like, you get this with the bonus and then other people get, a less good version,
Yeah.
I think is really neat. So I could have played it at Origins, but time is the enemy when you're at a convention and trying to fit it all in, and so I didn't get a chance.
It
But
always is.
yes. Anyways, my that's a great choice. That would have been higher on my list than number six if I didn't have my rules, but I have my rules. Um, Number six is Primacy from Spielkraft. Spielkraft, I don't know how to say it. Have you heard of this game?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see it
Okay.
on the preview list, but I probably should have known it was there.
What do you think this would have been close to making your list if it was on the
I
preview list?
don't know yet or not. I'm
Yeah.
covering it, but I don't know enough of the mechanics. It would have been on my short list for sure, but I
I
don't know if it
don't
made the final cut.
I don't know that much about this game. Here are a few things I do know. I know that Cretaceous Rails from the same company, different designer, but same company, was on my top 10 games of 2025. I really like Cretaceous Rails. I think they did an excellent production job of this. Um, Last year at Origins, I saw Alex from Spielcraft demoing Primacy, and it looks really cool. I watched a few minutes of it. It looked really immersive. There's probably a little bit more like conflict, like take that stuff than I sometimes tend to prefer in games. I don't mind it. But it has like tech trees, lots of modular movement where you're upgrading things and building up your thing and trying to do better than everyone else. So it just looks awesome on the table, and that was only the prototype I saw. I am Alex has me doing the how to play in a little bit here, so I'm really excited to dig into that. But yeah, I just think I don't know. I mentioned external factors in the previous video, and I don't know how much of a factor that should play, but I think Alex is like a really cool guy, and
He does
I
have the
think he.
best Facebook posts of anyone I know.
Oh,
I
I'll
don't know if
have
you've seen them.
to.
They are the
Well,
best.
I think I'm Facebook friends with him. I'll just go look, and I'll do an assessment. I'm going to message him and be like,
Mhm.
other Alex says you've got the best Facebook posts, and here's my rating. No, anyways, I think he's doing a great job, and I'm pretty excited to actually give this one a shot sometime.
Very nice. My number five, I think I'm up to. Number five is one that's probably the oldest title from anything I've mentioned in either list. This is going to be Satchel Quest. Satchel Quest, have you played this game?
I don't even
Uh, so
remember
it
this
was
one.
on crowdfunding. I want to say it's a Weird City, if I'm not mistaken. But Satchel Quest is a bag builder, art by Vincent Trait, or someone who looks like Vincent Trait. I realize I don't know for sure, but it looks like that. But effectively, it's a bag builder where you're kind of going on sort of a dungeon crawl, but you're kind of taking things from the bag and placing them down to be mindful of the bonuses they give to the spot, the adjacent spots. It looks very fun, and it's been on my list for a while, and I haven't gotten around to getting it, trying it. I've always been interested in it, but I've never had the purchase opportunity put in front of me, so to speak. Outside of the crowdfunding, and doing the crowdfunding, I was trying to be responsible, so I didn't get it. And it's very rare that a game that I was interested in crowdfunding is still holding my attention after the fact continuously, maybe
Yeah.
if I passed on it. And this one is just, it's always in the back of my mind. And like, I don't know, it's not like the rated the best. I think it's like 7.6 maybe, or something like that on BGG. It's like rated decently. But it's not like, oh my gosh, you have to get it. But it looks fun. It looks the kind of game I'd enjoy. And it has been on my radar for a while. And I'm curious where it'll land.
Um, yes, I have looked at this game. This is made by like the Flat Out people, but not published by Flat Out.
Is it?
It's Molly and Sean.
I don't think
And
I realized that.
yeah, that's I remember and Robert who like, Point Salad, Verdant, all that.
Yeah.
Um,
That makes me more interested.
yeah, so I felt like I couldn't get enough of the grasp of the game when I do remember looking at this now. I had jotted it down, but I couldn't get quite enough of a grasp online to make a determination if this belonged on my anticipated list or not. But I think it looks really cool, and I think that Sean and Molly and I think they do a great job. I love Flat Out games, so that was kind of the main thing it had.
Wow. This has me more interested. Although I'm seeing on BGG it doesn't actually have a rating. Is it not out? Did I misunderstand? No, it's actually not out yet. I'm wrong. I think I just have a crowdfunding delay assumptions here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know too much about it. It does look really cool though. When you first said it, I don't remember the name, but now I do. And it is Vincent Dutrait, you're right. But
Yeah.
yeah, that game looks cool.
So I got one of like
Uh,
three things right about the game. I was like, it's rated 7.6 or something. It's not rated at all. It's been out for a while. No, it doesn't exist yet. Art by Vincent Dutrait. That part I got right.
yeah, I mentioned this a couple times in the other video, but I was at OrcaCon earlier. One thing that's cool about a smaller con is like you usually have more consistent stories. Like when you go to Gen Con, like you talk to a trillion people, whatever. But at OrcaCon, it was mostly just me hanging out with the Flat Out people and a few other people like the whole time playing games. So got to play some of their upcoming prototypes, some of their other games. We played lots of games together. Um, I think Sean and Molly are awesome. They're also from Canada,
Yeah.
which is bonus points, I think. So, um, okay, my number five is a game that I had never heard of. When I saw it on the list, I was like, this sounds interesting. And then I went and watched Covre, however you say that. Uh, I went and watched them cover this game. And one of the things about them is the photos and some of the video shots they take of games just look awesome. And this game
It,
is looks so cool. This is Diablos, and this to me, this game is just like it looks beautiful. I like the second I saw the photos and some of the video footage, I was like, oh my goodness. But also, it's a like I love music theme games. The theme looks really neat. It's music and it's fireworks. There are one of my I love worker placement, but I especially love when worker placement has like different worker types, like Tricerion or games like that where, different strengths and values. So this has a bunch of that. The components look cool. I don't know that much about how the mechanics work together, so I'll be interested to try it and see if this is just a beautiful looking game with a cool idea and some cool concepts that doesn't work that well. But as long as that the selection system and all that works together well, I'm pretty excited about that. I like multi-use cards too. That's a huge Garfield feature that this game has. So yeah, Diablos. Have you played this game? Have you seen this
I have
game?
not played it. I have been interested in this one. I've talked about it in several other videos. That's why I chose not to put it on this list because they're like I don't know enough about the mechanics, and I've already talked about how I'm interested in this one, so I left it off. But I am interested in it.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, yeah, just looks awesome. So
Yeah, fun random
again,
fun fact. You mentioned Kavre. When I was pulling up Satchel Quest, I was looking at some of the great photos in this Kavre photos.
yeah, man, I like it. It's funny. Sometimes I have a game to do a video. A publisher will say, "Hey, can you also do some photos for us?" And I'm new to video production. Like I just started last year, made my first video ever, like a little over a year ago. Uh, so I haven't really like learned how to take really nice photos, and I can take okay photos, but I feel with the existence of people like Kavre online who take like the most unbelievable photos, I usually am just like, well, I'm not really like a pro photographer, so have you asked Kavre or someone like that? They do amazing photos. I can't believe it. I did the Towers of Sifnos how to play, and the photos on their crowdfunding campaign for that, the Kavre, I just was like blown
Top notch.
away by how amazing those are. So,
Although don't sell yourself short. That how to play was fantastic. Like it was
oh
a
well,
great how
thank
to
you.
play.
Oh, thanks.
I've not
That's
watched all your videos, but I know I watched that one.
oh, thanks. That's very kind of you. That was a really fun one to make. So, a fun fact about that how to play is that in the setup you'll see 3 player boards, but I actually only had 1 player board because their production was messed up, so I was missing a few components. So that was probably one of the most intense video productions I've ever done in that, where I just had to layer and fake the whole game
Interesting.
through that I only had one. So
Well,
hopefully it came across like there were 3.
all right. My number 4 is a partial cheat to this list, and I'm including it because I played an early prototype of this. I never played the final version. I have the final version, in fact, but I am still interested in it, and I've read the rulebook final version. I haven't played the final version, so half cheat because I kind of played it. But this is Trick to the Future. Trick to the Future is a Gamehead game. They got a shout out in my other video. You can check out
Yeah.
which game if you want to see that. But Trick to the Future is a fascinating. Have you played Trick to the Future?
No, but it was on it was on my Origins top 10
Yeah.
anticipated list.
It's very interesting, and I really enjoyed the prototype when I played it, and I've been looking forward to playing the final one. But effectively, it's a trick-taking game, but all the things are digital. So think of a digital number. Like a digital 0 is one line away from being a digital 8. And you get these, like, you're kind of bidding on how many tricks you're going to win, but then you're going to be using these to adjust your numbers. So I can play a 0 and then make it an 8. And so you have a limited degree of control, but then you're trying to also spend your currency at the same time as you're matching up how many tricks you're going to win to your remaining currency. This is this weird ebb and flow that you're trying to balance in your ability to mess with the numbers while attempting to actually win the right amount of tricks perfectly. It's a very unique take. It's a very different take because sometimes you're so limited by mechanics, and this one is a game where I don't know how they came up with the design, but the components of the game, the theme of the game, lend themselves to the mechanics of the game in a way that's very fascinating. But again, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed my prototype as an early prototype back way back when, and I'm looking forward to actually playing whatever this version is. But Trick to the Future, I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah, have you played Tricky Kids from Pandasaurus?
Yes, yes, yeah,
To me, Trick to the Future kind of looks like it does that, but in a way that feels probably a little bit more thoughtful, thinky, and crunchy. Like I think
yes,
Tricky Kids is super fun, but in Trick to the Future, that ability to manipulate your numbers, but it comes at like a more kind of like there are a bit more limitations, but it comes at like a more tangible cost. Like you're using up those energy cells or whatever those sticks are called. It looks really cool to me, so I'm excited
yeah.
to try that one.
Having played well QE, Tricky Kids, and Trick to the Future, Tricky Kids feels like a cross between QE and Trick to the Future.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I think I'd rather play QE or Trick to the Future.
Yeah, like I said, this might have made this top 10 list. It would have been close, except it was on my top 10 Origins list, so I didn't have it on here. But it looks really neat. So my number 4. Now, by the way, I'll quickly say that this list was hard to make. I've got this short list of 50 games. I've got tons of games. Maybe before number 1, we'll take a pause to shout out a couple that didn't quite make the list that we can if we want. But these top 4 were like automatic, like, and not necessarily in order. But what I'm trying to say is, I think that this was basically a top 6 list between all the rest of the games, because there were 4 that were just like, well, this is going on my list. The second I wrote it down, I was like, nothing is going to push this off the top 10 list. And it was really hard to put these 4 in order. So I kind of did it around if the game showed up, how quickly I feel like I would try to push this onto the table. And so number 4, we talked about Red Raven Games in the other list, and I actually, one of the nice things is that I kind of made these lists a little while ago, and we got delayed, so I kind of forgot what was on this list. But even mentioned Song of Silveranth, Song of Silveranth from Red Raven Games. Um, these games, it's a little bit hard to know too much about their games since they're story driven and they don't put too many spoilers online. But it looks like it's basically like kind of in that world of Sleeping Gods and the type of games that Red Raven / Ryan Lockett makes. But I've seen pictures and photos, and it just looks like a big, epic production. It looks beautiful. I know he's been working on it for a while. And I have found that, like, Above and Below is my first game I played from him, which came out, I think, 11 years ago or something. Uh, I have found, even with the new version of Above and Below Haunted, which I like, and Near and Far, that the storytelling has like progressed and the games have gotten better as they've gone in general. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is right or not, but I'm kind of viewing Song of Silveranth as this like epic lead up to this game is going to like be a grand slam kind of magnum opus. Which I haven't asked Ryan if that's how he feels. If he saw this, he might be like, "You're crazy, Ryan." But anyways, yeah, I can't say enough good about Red Raven. The artwork on this looks amazing. His storytelling's incredible, and mostly I've played the non-cooperative versions of his games before, so I'm excited to take on this cooperative version and give it a shot.
That did not make my list. I am very interested in it. It did seem a little reminiscent of Sleeping Gods, which is a game that
Yeah,
I liked. I liked it a lot, but I think like you mentioned non-co-op, like Six Sigma is probably my favorite. I like Creature Caravans a lot. But
yeah.
yeah, Sleeping Gods was very, very good. But I am still curious about Song of Silverlands. It was on my short list till the very end, and then I cut it out.
What?
Although, good.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I think with Red Raven Games, I think Ryan does an awesome job basically every time. But I will say that even though I have quite a few of his titles on my shelf, having that many titles, there is enough similarity. Like he has his thing that he does in general. So I feel what you're saying with that. Fortunately, I haven't played much Sleeping Gods, so if I had that and had played that to death, then I might be a little bit less excited about this because there is a lot of similarity and crossover. So if you really love that, that's great. But it can kind of be like, you know, do you need every one of his games in your collection? And some people might say yes, but I think a lot of people would say, well, no, I've got a couple of the key titles, but yeah,
My number three makes me wonder, especially given how much you talked about the last game, I wonder if my number three will be a crossover with your top three. My number three is going to be Kingdom Come Deliverance, the board game from CGE. Kingdom Come Deliverance, designed by Thomas Hollick and Vlaada Chvátil, which is so important because I think people don't always remember this, but Vlaada Chvátil designed Mage Knight. So if you're looking for a giant adventure game with deck building, and Kingdom Come Deliverance has deck building, like the designer chops are definitely there. Not just like, oh, hey, I did code names. Yes, you did code names, but you also did Through the Ages, and you did a Mage Knight, and then you have Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I don't even care about the IP. I never played a Kingdom Come Deliverance video game. I should probably at some point, but I never did. But it looks beautiful. The production looks beautiful. The components look beautiful. Granted, it does come at like a $200 price tag, which doesn't look quite as beautiful. But as someone on my video commented, no one would blink twice if that was on crowdfunding. And so maybe it's worth it. Maybe the delivery is there. Maybe like I know Arnak makes you feel like you got a deluxe game to no end. So I am very curious whether this is going to be worth it. But I am definitely very interested. A CG production, Vlaada Chvátil and Thomas Hollick as designers. I am both incredibly excited, and with everything, I cannot emphasize this enough. As with everything on this list, I am equally excited and prepared to be let down. Like, let down doesn't even mean bad. It just means that, like, at the end of the day, new games are a dime a dozen, and it's very easy to be excited about things that pull you in, and then some of them land. Some of them are amazing, and they really like reward you for being patient. And others are like, didn't have to be on that list, but we don't know that until we play it.
I I messed something up here. I didn't see that game. I must
So
have missed.
so, did you re-go over the list from the last 2 weeks or whatnot?
I did last week, but when did this go up? Because
Okay,
I
I
missed.
don't. Here's the deal. Kingdom Come Deliverance again. We talked about this a little in the video. We were going to do these videos a little earlier. I redid my entire interested list based on like my other list. My games I'm recommending didn't change that much, but I did go through the entire interested list again and started from scratch. And Kingdom Come Deliverance was not on the first. Either it wasn't on the first list. I don't think it was, or I missed it. But I think it was not there. And then today, literally today, was when I went over it, and it was pretty low down as far as thumbs. So like, and I think it would be higher. I think it was a late addition. So that could be what's happening here.
Yeah, I'm looking now, and the last because what I did was I made my list, but then since we hadn't recorded it, I kept checking, and the last installment I saw under recently added was Bezier Games had put some stuff in. Um, and yeah, so I'm looking at Bezier. They've got their Marianne promo card, and then three titles up from that is Kingdom Come Deliverance. So, okay, maybe I didn't mess up. I was like, how did I screw this up? 1,000% of Vlada Chvátil and Tomáš Holek. Like I heard a bit ago that they were teaming up to make a game, and I was like, I don't care what it is, just take my money, And I also, I mentioned, I don't remember if it's in this video. I think of this video. I don't know that much about video game IPs, so when I saw that, I was like, I don't know about that, but those both of those designers, man, like Vlada has had so many spots on my shelf. Mage Knight, Through the Ages, Dungeon Pets, Codenames, just like everything, absolutely incredible. Tomasz Holek, like a
Yeah.
newly bringing out SETI. I loved Tea Garden, Galileo Galilei. So when you take two people like that, like if you told me like Vital Lacerda and Uwe Rosenberg were gonna make a game together, I'd be like, I don't care what it is, I don't care how much it costs. Like, don't tell me anything, just give me the game, you know. And so I felt that way when I heard this. Mage Knight is a game that has been sitting on my shelf unplayed for a number of years, and most common sense would say, Ryan, you should sell that game because you're never going to play it. But I hang on to it for dear life because I'm like, sometime me and some friends are going to dig back into this game because, yeah.
It's a
Anyways,
great game, but it's a hard one to table. It is. Unless you're playing it a lot, it's a hard one to table.
yeah. Well, and the problem is that it has enough like nuance, like enough complicated, convoluted rules
Yeah.
that if you don't play it for a while, then you have to like relearn it because it's the type of game. If you're
I've
going to
relearned
run
it
it,
like 5 times.
yeah, if you're going to run it, you want to be able to run it well because it's. I feel that obligation. It's like if I'm playing this with someone, I need to have all the answers, and that's a hard game to do that with. So, anyways, okay. I when you started talking about that, I was like, oh dang it, this like so that would have been in
It's
my
a good thing there's two of us here.
yeah. When I said my top four were like claimed, no one could touch it, it would have been top five because that would have been in there for sure. My number four, or my number
Three.
three, I watched. Part of my research was I watched a video on your channel of you reviewing it, and this is from Mind Clash Games, and it's Revenant. I am a big Mind Clash fan. Tricerion is probably my favorite Mind Clash game. Anachrony, they've got so many good games. I love it. Even their new Mind Clash Play thing. It's funny they have their like lighter line, which is heavier than a lot of board game companies still, like Emberheart.
Yes.
They're doing a great job, and they have a new. I don't know if it's public, and I don't remember what it's called, but they've got a new game coming out on Mind Clash Play that I'm doing the how to play for. That's like a really big departure from anything they've done. So I'm excited. I think they're a brilliant company. Revenant looks like it looks like a Mind Clash game, which is what I like. The production looks cool. The mechanics look cool. Watching your video, I don't know if you seemed as sold on it as my anticipation level is for it to be my number three on my list. But I
To be
just,
clear, I will say from my review, if I recall correctly, I liked a bunch of parts of it, and some of the things I was critical of in my review, they had already gotten that feedback and were
yeah,
already changing. But like I didn't
yeah,
know that obviously. But they like, yeah,
yeah,
we actually agree with these things, and we already know, and we're changing the game. It's one of the worst parts about reviewing prototypes because that review lives forever, even with the disclaimers, even with the prototype subject to change. People tune that out because 90% of the time it doesn't change much, but the
yeah.
10% can really leave an impact.
Totally. Yeah, and I don't think you sounded negative. You just were kind of like, well, I hope
I
they
was
change
medium
things.
plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks, yeah, I don't know. I like all their games. This looks like a title that fits in that. It kind of, for me, it's kind of enough said. Mind Clash is putting out this heavy game. And, I am waiting for them to disappoint me one day with a title that I'm kind of like, oh, that wasn't that great. I liked that, you know, I I do like in games where it's not necessarily semi co-op, but you're all kind of dealing with and working on some of the similar things in the middle that impact things, and you can do it in a way that's strategic, so it kind of is helping everyone, but maybe helps you a little bit more. I thought the unfolding of the ships looks really neat. The way it all scatters looks cool. Obviously, you know more about the game than me, so you could tell me what you think is cool about it. But yeah, it just
Yeah.
big fan.
Yeah, it's a solid one. It was a very good. It's a very lots of tensions and decisions. The overwhelming hordes were a big part that kind of had it a little bit overwhelming. But the amount of ways you can build up your tableau and try to get control, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, and I meant to mention earlier, I forget what game you were talking about where you said you only have 9 turns in the whole game.
Six scissions.
Oh yeah, so that was on the other video. For people
Yeah.
watching this, we recorded these back to back, so the conversations is kind of blurring together. But um, I like games like that where it's, a lot of the T series games where you just know I have 9 turns or I have 12 turns. This is all I'm going to get in this game. And it's just that, like White Castle does that because uh, I like this idea that it's just this limited economy for you, and you are just like, okay, I need to be able to accomplish kind of this much per turn. I think in your video you said because you were dealing with like you had to do so much to deal with the horde, you felt like a little bit robbed of some of your ability to do enough in those limited
Yes,
turns.
a
So
lot of it was control as opposed to growth,
yeah,
but the
totally.
growth part was fun. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay, well, what's your number two, Mr.
My number
Alex?
two is much, much lighter than anything on this list, but it's the kind of game that I like. In fact, we talked about games like this to a certain extent, but I am really looking forward to One Round from Devere. One Round is an interesting one that would not have been on my radar except for the fact that people had mentioned this to me. I had a bunch of people talk about how much they liked it, and it basically seems to be leaning into a wavelength style of gameplay. So the basic idea is you have these words that get, well, you have numbers, and you're coming up with words, and that you're kind of narrowing this timeline. The numbers are 1 through 100, you're drawing various numbers, you're trying to put words on it that will fill the gaps between the timelines based on where you think that word should go. But as you continue to add words, it gets harder and harder to be accurate as to where in this numeric timeline does this random word fit in relation to the other words. Like if you have different extremes, if you have, I don't know, you have like, give me any two words. Any two words. Let's do, light and
Shelf.
shelf. Light and shelf. Amazing. I picked light because it's on your shelf, so both cheating there. Light and shelf over there. Amazing. Now if we add the word pizza, like where in the timeline would it go? Well, between light and shelf and all that. But then as you add more words, how can these other words just generically fit in the timeline? It feels like the kind of puzzly, I think it's co-op if I'm not mistaken, but it feels like the kind of puzzle experience that I can really enjoy. I also can bounce off of. Some of these games are really clever, but they don't execute well. Others are just amazingly fun. Like, well, what's the, I think Ito? It's a little similar to Ito to a certain extent, if you've played that one. So it
Mhm.
feels like it has that kind of gameplay mechanic to it, and I really like all games like that.
Yeah, so I just was at RageCon. I mentioned this in the other video. I got to be like a
Yep.
social media guest or whatever hosting games. Um, there were three of us doing that, and one of them was Grant Lyon, and he had a copy of this there. So
Did you
Grant
play it?
Lyon, yes, and it is super cool. I don't know. I feel like if you were to play games of it in a row with like the same group of people, it would be kind of like get kind of weird. But um, it's really cool. And what's cool is you start out with three words on the board. So three of us randomly wrote a word. I think we had water, one, and it's funny. Those are the words I didn't write. And I put poutine because I was
Good
Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah, I always got to ham up the Canadian stuff. So someone gets a number between that and they write like cooking or whatever. At first, it's pretty broad, but it starts to narrow. So we had
Yep.
like poutine, potato, tater tots, like, and so then you're like trying to get this narrow little line in between them. So I think it's really neat. I don't know if I would have put it on my number two anticipated. That's quite high, but it's a cool
So
game.
I will say games like this, I'm almost guaranteed to enjoy it. But
Yeah.
some of these games, like sometimes the simple games are just become the most played. Like we talked about Alibis, Codenames, So Clover. Sometimes these cute little word games can become the most played games that become the go-to fillers in my collection. Will this be that? No idea, but I'm curious to find out.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because on the top 10 played list, I was on my short list. I had the gang because they're putting out a deluxe version of the
Yeah.
gang, which I don't really understand. I guess you can deluxeify anything, but it seems like a weird game for a deluxe version.
Poker
Man,
chips,
the
foil
gang when I
cards,
first
who
heard it,
knows?
pardon me,
Poker chips, foil cards, like
yeah,
better poker chips.
when you when I first heard about the gang, I guess cooperative Texas Hold'em, I was like, okay, like whatever. I played it, and then we played around, and everyone's like, okay, good game. I'm like, no, 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 everyone, stop moving. We're playing this again. And then again and again, we spent a few hours playing it. I was just like so all in on it. So I feel you with a lot of games like this, like one round, it's like no matter what, I'm gonna like it. But then some they just hit so hard and you're just like, I can't stop playing this. I wanna play this over and over. And so yeah, I don't one round didn't hit me as hard like that, but one round is definitely really
It might
cool.
not for me. This is based on me not playing it, but we'll see.
One round is really cool. And I will happily play a round of that with you sometime if we've got time at Gen Con or some other time. But it's really cool. My number two, again, I mean, these top four are basically just like some of my favorite publishers and designers are putting out cool games. And that is from Board and Dice. That is Entropy. And have you played this one, Alex?
I have indeed.
Okay. Did you make a video about it?
I did indeed. Um,
Oh, okay.
it may not have gone up yet. I filmed a video. They don't always go up. I
Yeah,
mean, they
yeah,
don't always go up in the right order.
yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't seen your video, obviously,
I
but
don't think it went up. I think I need to get I need to get up before Gen Con, but I filmed it. I have a lot of videos in the backlog.
like, I mean, the lineup of this is like Simone Luciani and Nestor Mangone, however you say it, are on this game, and collectively, like, they occupy a bunch of my shelf space. It's board and dice. The art and components look amazing. I One thing that's interesting for me is I wouldn't consider myself to be a big science fiction person. And I also wouldn't say like space or science fiction is a theme that I chase in games. But for the types of games I really enjoy, I find that science fiction and space games seem to often be games that I really love. So, like last year, in my top 10 of 2025, I had Brink, I had Transgalactica, Galactic Cruise, like several of these kind of outer space science fiction games. And so, I, looking at this just looks like in that type of vein. If you like board and dice, if you like some of those games I just mentioned, and Transgalactica I had on my top 10 list of 2025, even though like that rule, like there were some serious issues with it.
Yeah.
But if you could muscle through that, it's a fantastic game. Um, the Rondell set collection, multi-use cards, combo mechanisms in this game, they just scream that kind of board and dice, Simone Luciani kind of Euro goodness that I'm here for and I love, and that I will keep playing as long as companies like Board and Dice keep appeasing that. So you've played this game. So what do you
Yeah.
think about it?
I think it's a very good game, with the main caveat that I think the components are a lot and the rules are a lot. Not super heavy. It's very intuitive once you start playing, but there are a lot to it. There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot of information you have to convey to the table. And the problem is, while I think it's a very good game, I don't think it's good enough relative to other good games that are easier to dive into. Like, it all comes together very nicely. Like, if someone told me this is like one of their favorite Euro games, I'd completely believe it. It's a good game. I just think that for me, when a game is going to require like a solid 45-minute teach, if I can't get it down to faster, and maybe I don't know if it's a full 45 minutes, but if it's going to be a longer teach, I want it to be worth it. So a good example would be a game called Sankori. I don't know if you played Sankori. I think there's just a lot of information to convey, but oh my gosh, I think it's so worth it when you're done.
yeah,
And Entropy was a very, very good game, but the problem is it took a lot to get there, and so I think for me it's one that's a good game that will be moving on.
yeah. I'm a huge Board and Dice fan. Um, Most of their games I really like. In the T series, Tabanusi was like my lowest, but even Tianxia, I got Tianxia. Have you played Tianxia?
I have
Um,
not.
and I liked it. Like I kind of feel the same way. Like it's good, it makes sense, it works, it's enjoyable. But again, that kind of like value proposition of it, like, is it worth busting out, setting up, and teaching this game,
That's the question.
or when there are so many games? So again, huge board and dice fan. Tianxia was awesome, but I just don't know if it was awesome enough to kind of push its way into my table above a lot of other awesome
There's only
games.
so much self space, table space, mental mind space, rules we can hold into our heads. Again, I think Entropy is genuinely a good game. It is worth trying. For because everyone's going to have a different lane. Some games that will be my 5 out of 5 would be your 3.5 out of 5. Like everyone's going to have different numbers. I think
Actually,
it's a good game.
interestingly, right there, that's Tianxia, I think.
Tianxia.
Yeah, right
Nice.
there. I'm trying to point, looking at my camera. That's awkward.
I
Um,
think my Tianxia is over there. I think that's Tianxia. Is that Tianxia? It
Man, I
might be.
can't. There's no way I can
No,
see.
no, no. My Tianxia is off camera. Nope, other game.
Okay,
My
there
bad.
we go.
Just off camera.
It's great. Before we're
We
about
can do this. We
to,
can do this. We can do this. There's my Tianxia.
oh, there we
There.
go. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
My backdrop here, I really like it, and I have had this intention of like when I first built it, I was like, I'm going to cycle through different games on there, and then you just get down to the reality of life where like it's just so much work, and so these games, my wife helped me kind of color coordinate and pick some cool looking games, and I've just let it sit there forever. So it
Nice.
is what it is. Before we hop into number one,
Dun,
two
dun,
things.
dun.
One, I feel like I don't know you well enough to try to guess yours, but I wonder if we should.
Oh, we're not gonna have any overlap. You're not gonna guess mine at all. This is not a super hot game. I have a personal
Okay.
story here.
Okay. Well,
Just to,
do
just
you
to set
have
the stage.
Do you have one or two games that you want to shout out that you're like, oh, I wish this had made it, but it
No,
just there wasn't.
only
No.
because I didn't keep the rest of my list. I immediately deleted it, and I'd have to go look at things. I'd have to like re-look at what was on the list. Like I remember, like Jasogi Anime Studio was on like at one point.
Oh yeah.
The Lord of the Rings Circle of Conflict was on there. That's the other one coming from off
Yeah.
stock, if I'm not mistaken. There are definitely others. I just don't remember because I've deleted them all, and I'm just going by what can I recall was on my short list.
I think I mostly asked that because I want to mention this game, even though I
Go ahead.
couldn't, in good conscience, put it on my list. Um, well, I don't know about in good conscience. It just couldn't make my top 10. But Carcassonne Labyrinth, have you
Is it
seen
good?
that?
I've seen it. I didn't. I wouldn't be on my radar to like
Well,
past the knowing it
I don't think it
exists.
would make my top 10 in the list of in the sense of like I think, but I just think, there are a lot of mashup games that happen over the years. Like there's
Hmm.
and some are good, some aren't good. Between Two Castles and Mad King Ludwig, cool mashup. I don't know if you remember when they made Flick 'em Up Dead of Winter, and I was like, that's a
Yep. Yep.
bad idea.
Crazy stuff.
Um, I keep wanting them to make Terra Marstica mash up Terra Mystica and Terraforming Mars. But anyways, this idea of like Labyrinth, like you push the tile off and then that's your Carcassonne tile that you build with, I just think actually looks like a cool way to combine two like endearing classic game systems. So anyways, I kind of just wanted to shout that out because it looks fun and interesting and all that. So um, well, anyways, I guess I can't guess your number one. I'm just gonna throw a guess out really quick. Your number one is gonna be Little
There's no
Soldiers.
way. There's no way. Nope. Nope. That would be an equally likely choice. My number one is a game called Into the Machine from AEG. Into the
Oh
Machine,
yeah,
designed by Casper Lapp, who did Magic Maze, as well as a few other games that I actually like. But Into the Machine is one that I played at Dice Tower West like 4 years ago. I played a prototype. I knew it was an AEG game, and then I really enjoyed the prototype. You're moving a bunch of cogs around, then you're moving them back in the other direction while trying to manipulate your machine. It's a clever little like number crunching, build machine, you build a machine kind of game. And I played a rough looking prototype that was not the kind of game I normally say yes to, but I knew the person demoing it. I was like, ah, fine, I'll demo it. And I really enjoyed it. And then every time I tried explaining it to the person who demoed it to me, he had no idea what I was talking about. And for years, it's like, I don't know, this game's never going to exist. I've never, like, I don't know what it is, don't know where it is. It doesn't exist. And the person who demoed it to me never knows what I'm talking about when I explain it to him. And then last year on crowdfunding, I saw Into the Machine pop up on Kickstarter. I was like, this is it. This is the game. And I found it. And now it's going to be at Gen Con, I believe. I believe it's available for sale at Gen Con. It might be demo. I think it's sale. But I haven't played it since the prototype way, way back. And it might let me down. It might. It might let me down because like I played a rough early game. Like things are printed on cards. It was like there's no graphics at all. It was terrible. I mean most things are printed on cards, but I mean like it was like blank cards with
yeah,
like a circle on it or whatever.
I know what you mean.
Uh, it's yeah. I have fond memories of playing this and really wanting this game to exist. But obviously a final game is a different conversation. Who knows where it ended up? Was it a first play? Who knows? So don't. This is not a review. Reviews are called reviews for a reason. These is just me saying I played a prototype 4 years ago and I'm very excited to finally play this again.
Did you go to the Gen Con media room last year? Or sorry,
At
the
Gen Con,
AEG media room at Gen Con?
I don't know if I went last year. Like they've done different rooms over the years. I've definitely gone at different points. I don't know about last
I
year.
think they had this in there last year. Um, Along with, I definitely looked at this for this list. It wasn't going to make the list, but Electrify, another AEG game
Yeah.
that was also in that's probably sitting around number 13 or 14 anticipated for me. But I think I saw Into the Machine there, and it looks really cool. I
Fun
definitely,
fact: the Electrify was gonna be on this list, but then I played it, and it wasn't. It moved off this list because I played the prototype, and it wasn't high enough to be on the recommends list.
oh yeah,
I like it
yeah,
a
that
lot with
happens.
some caveats. I'll have a review for it.
Yeah, that happens. I have, I've sometimes actually, I mean to go back and do like when these conventions are coming up, revisit the list now that I've played all the
Yeah.
most of the games and be like, would this be there or not? I haven't gotten around to that, but I definitely have experienced that where you're anticipating a game, you're so excited, then you play and you're like, oh, okay.
I
Or
think it's worth doing.
sometimes you're like, wow, this is even better than I thought. My number one game, um, again, this is a pretty like this one was a pretty automatic choice. I'm a huge Stonemeyer fan. Scythe is one of my favorite games of all time. And so this is Duel of Malak. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, I think so.
Duel of Malak. I like Expeditions fine. I don't like Expeditions
I
nearly as much as.
love Expeditions, and I think Scythe is fine. So between the two of
Okay,
us,
there
I
we
know
go.
which side we would take when we play this.
Well, if you made it to this point in the video, um, you can leave in the comments and let us know who's right, Alex or me. Obviously, it's
Oh,
me,
the
but
vast majority is going to say you. Scythe is much more well loved. Expeditions, I will die for. Scythe
that's
is
cool.
okay. I've played it like 5 times. I
I,
keep trying to play it, thinking it'll be better.
I actually think I've heard a lot of praise about Expeditions from people that I trust and look up to. So part of me is like, maybe I should revisit it and try it a bit more, but I haven't. I like Expeditions is fine. I love Scythe, huge game for me. So Expeditions or Duel of Malak. I mean, it just 1v1 battler that brings those two in together. And you can do Scythe versus Scythe or Expeditions versus Expeditions, but the heart of the game is one person's Expedition side, one person is Scythe side, and it's a pretty tight looking map, so there's not a lot of space. And I also love how it brings a new, like kind of expand like a new faction into Scythe, and that you can use in Scythe, and it also brings a new like mech into Expeditions, which you can use in
Yep.
Expeditions, and then you can also swap out your powers. It's basically an asymmetric battler, and you can
Yep.
swap out the factions, vice versa, from Expeditions and Scythe. Um, yeah, I don't know when I've logged as many Stonemeyer plays, particularly Scythe and games like that. For me, this type of a game is just like it's the type of game I have to own. Really excited about. It looks amazing. I think Jamie does a great job of, producing meaningful content within a similar universe. And yeah, so I look forward one day, Alex, to being the Scythe side while you're the Expedition side, and we'll see which game actually is better, but based on who wins, I guess.
I don't know if that makes the game better, but I hear what you're saying.
No, the logic is perfect. Don't question it, please.
It's impeccable.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Alex, thanks for making this list for me. If you've watched to this point, Alex and I will both be at Gen Con. We would love to say hi if you want to come up and say hi. If you want to give Alex some homemade Captain Crunch ice cream, he might enjoy that. I don't know. It has to be pretty good because he's got a lot of experience. But anyways, come say hi at Gen Con. Make sure you go check out the other list on Alex's channel as well. And yeah, Alex, I want to quickly say before we sign off, you have been, as I'm newer to this world, you've been such an encouragement and a help and support. And I'm very grateful for you shouting out my channel and doing all that for me. And so thanks again. It's really cool to get to make this list with you.
Absolutely. Anytime. It's fun.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching and hope to see you at Gen Con.